Hey guys, Timothy here, aka FCU Fan21, bringing you not the official power rankings, but my power rankings for the Sunny Shore Battle Federation low tier competition. Um, First of all, I reckon this will be a pretty long video. Just a heads up, so you know. Yeah, you saw it when you clicked this video, by the way. So, maybe I'll timestamp everyone somewhere, but yeah, I didn't want this to be a big project, and it kind of already is a bit bigger than I anticipated it. So yeah, we'll see. Good things to know before we get started. The ranking itself I did all by myself. It's not anything all that hard or anything, but yeah, it's just my thoughts and my feelings about the teams. It can be not to your liking at all. You can completely disagree with you. That's fine. This is my first power rankings ever, and yeah, just try to have fun with it. I got some useful tips and tricks from Hunch, so shout out to Hunch as a thank you for helping me as far as you did for making the power rankings. Really appreciate it. Yeah, too bad we couldn't. He had a plan to make it with the two of us, and asking some people like Sorrow and Miklas to join us in the call, and it was a very fun and great idea, I have to say, and I'm really disappointed I couldn't make it work. I did have a busy weekend, to say the least, so yeah, just I felt it wasn't going to happen, and so I made it all by myself, and well, let's go without further ado. For starters, I had made a complete list, and I ranked them for myself in low, people who I think will rank quite low in the end, people that rank somewhere in the middle, and people that will rank highly in the end of the season. In the end, I had three teams I am expecting to end quite low on the list, and we'll climb our way up. And the first team, and again, sorry if you disagree or if you get mad at me about this, but like I said, it's my first time, and I did try to give good arguments for why I think why something is good or bad. The team I think will finish somewhere down in the end, and I think has the worst team, is the Kakuna's Law Firm. They have a pretty big ice weakness, with 4 months weak to it and only 2 resistances. Could say the same about fire, but Tatsugiri is a good fire switch in, or great fire switch in. So yeah, and ice is pretty commonly used. Looking at Pylosand, at Masquerain, his Decidui and Kilowattrol. For that, not all that big of a defense. The only things getting 100 or higher defensive stat is Delphox with 100 base special defense and Pylosand base 110 physical defense. Copperajah has a big it's fallen off a bit, but still a bit suable. It does have 122 base HP, but here with 69 in both defenses, nice. Yeah, I don't see it as a great wall, like something that can reliably take multiple hits. I feel Koparaja, especially with something like Heavy Metal, which is not a great ability at all, because it only makes it even weaker to low kicks. So, yeah. I don't really like his defenses, and with mons that should be, or probably will be, put in defensive positions like Komala. I mean, Komala has 95 base PDEF, which is decent, but only 65 base physical defense and 65 HP is not really gonna cut it, in my opinion, as a defensive mon. Masquerain will probably need a focus sash to get sticky webs up. So yeah, not a big fan of those things, but it has of course some good qualities for it. I, for starters, like his hazard removal situation. He has 2 defoggers in Masquerain and Hisuian Decidui. And rapid spinners in Komala and in Tatsugiri. Komala is a great rapid spin mon, I have to say. Why? Because of Comatose he can't get statused, so things like Toxic Spikes won't have any effect on it, and with neutral damage to the Stealth Rocks, I think it can be a decent rapid spinner. Tatsugiri is... not sure what I think about Tatsugiri. I mean, let's just say it's a rapid spinner. Don't feel positive or negatively about it. So, yeah. Decidui is a pretty fine defogger, I guess. His flying weakness makes it maybe a bit wonky to use. And besides that, he has 5 other weaknesses. So, yeah, doesn't make it easy to use it, but resisting the Stealth Rocks is somewhat nice, so it can somewhat reliably defog. And Masquerain I don't like as a defogger, honestly, because, yeah, switching in it already takes 50% from Stealth Rocks, and so you either have to run heavy duty boots, which makes it quite vulnerable against attacks with 62 defense and 82 special defense. And if you run Sash, Sash gets broken as soon as you switch in. So, yeah, he has enough removal, but it's... and of course that makes it, gives it a little plus point at it, but... anything else? Big special hitters. He has some phenomenal special attackers. Kilowatt Roll 105. I love using Kilowatt Roll myself. Delphox 115. Tatsugiri 120. Masquerain 100. Piloscent 100. So Hisuian Decidui with 95 is also an option to run special or mixed. So he has quite some heavy hitters. Koparaja 130 attack, Komala 115 physical attack, so he has some good things. He has 5 U-turners and a Volt Switcher, which is also very nice, but lacking the bulk, I fear, yeah, with all due respect, I fear he's not going to perform all that well. I love to see him prove me wrong, of course. Again, not a attack on anyone. So I hope you can, but I don't see it happening, at least for me personally. Somewhat higher up the list, number 15, is going to be the Apricot III. I'm going to just start with things I don't really like about this team. almost every mon on this team has either an ice, ground, or rock weakness. Looking at the list, Low Kicks has a rock weakness, Tinkaton ground, Jolteon ground, Typhlosion both ground and rock, Xatu ice and rock, Serena ice, Dragalge ice and ground, Pikachu ground, Furret nothing, thank God for him, Lycanroc ground, Cramorant rock. So bring those 3 moves to him and he already has a hard time switching in and out on you. So I feel like they should make some transactions to fix those weaknesses, because ice, rock and ground are quite commonly used. So I feel like his speed stats are kind of lacklustering. I mean, Jolteon is a great speedy guy, of course, with 130. Oh wait, I wasn't saying that right. His speed stats are pretty good. Yeah, I totally agree with that. But the other tire stats really lacking something. I mean, in physical defense, nothing above 100. HP, nothing above 100. Physical attack, Lycanroc 115, Low Kicks 102. Not that great. Special attack, also just do the Jolteon and the Hisuian Typhlosion, and in SBF only Tinkaton can really take a hit. Maybe Cramorant. So yeah, he's really lacking some big numbers here. Of course, Pikachu's stats can be doubled by using a Light Ball, which is making it somewhat decent. And with Lightning Rod, it does have a immunity to electric types, but you also have Jolteon for that, so I don't really see the need of Pikachu here, honestly. I feel like it's just in every way a worse Jolteon. So, kinda, even though maybe it was 1 or 2 points, I still think it's a waste and you could have used those points a bit better, honestly. What else was there to be said? He has no ground types, which at first glance I didn't really like, but with both Jolteon and Pikachu he still has 2 electric resist or immunities, so kinda makes up for it. And his speed tier is, it's easy to speed creep Hisuian Typhlosion and just leave it at that. The gap from Hisuian Typhlosion 95 to Lycanroc 112 is a bit too big for my liking. If I bring a base 100 speed Pokemon, I just have to just outspeed the Typhlosion. And I know I can't outspeed the Lycanroc, so leave it at that. So yeah, I think that his speed stats can be a bit better. What I also feel like he could utilize more is more hazards. Either Tinkaton or Lycanroc can set up rocks, with Lycanroc not being an all that amazing stealth rocker because he is pretty frail with just 65 defenses. And Dragalge as a Toxic Spiker is just decent overall, but that means you only have 1 or 2 reliable hazard setters, and I don't think that's going to cut it for a league. So if I could give you some advice, I would invest in some more hazard setups. Things I do like is the Hisuian Typhlosion. I run wild with that thing in another league, and my god, what was it? Around 20 kills in the end, and in 9 games. So Typhlosion can and probably will pick up some kills reliably in this season. Something I also like is a lot of momentum in this team with 4 U-turners and 2 volt switches. And Dragonites can learn flip turn, which is also nice. I'm not sure if Cramorant gets flip turn, so he has a lot of momentum. And well, you can see quick attack users 6. He has quite some priority moves. But in the end, I think and I feel like not having all that great stats is going to bite them too much, and I don't see them picking up much wins. Good to know. I did not look at any schedules for power rankings, so this is purely based on what I see in the teams. So yeah, number 14 I believe are the Twilight Sparkles. The last team I really didn't see finishing all that high in the table. Rabombi, Zoroark, Quillfish, Crocalor, Magneton, Passimian, Mudsdale, Rotom, Trapinch, Go-Go, Sharpedo. Again, a team with not much bulk. Highest SBF stat is his Mudsdale at 85. So hit him on the special side and blown away. Crocalor is just a bit higher. Let's do some quick math. 58 times 1.5 is around the 85 mark. So with an Eviolite, Crocalor is a little bit bulkier on the special side than Mudsdale, and Mudsdale already doesn't want to take those special hits. Physically, he has, of course, the Mudsdale with 100, and the Crocalor 78 times 1.5 is still somewhere in between the 120s, I believe. So that's decent, but he does need his item for that, and knockoff is a thing. 90 on Passimian and a 95 on Magneton. Again, Magneton needing, I feel like, a Eviolite to really flourish in a defensive role. So, and also Quillfish, Trapinch, he has 4 non-evolved, non-fully evolved mons. I feel like that's a bit much even for a low tier draft, honestly. Furthermore, I feel like he has too big gaps, too much big gaps in his speed stats, with almost 20 points between Rabombi and Zoroark. Let's see what else good. Go-Goat and Crocalor is almost 20 points. So yeah, again, I feel like he is between all those pretty easy to speed creep. So yeah, that's one of the speed creeping is one of the points I highly regard, because the more or the less you're able to speed creep an opponent, because you're not really sure or they have too many options to speed creep, the less you can put into bulk, basically. So I feel like that's something quite big. Looking at his special attack, he has Magneton and Zoroark at 120, but after that, not much firepower as well. So yeah, don't really like that. His hazard options are also limited, with Stealth Rocks from the Mudsdale and Quillfish setting up spikes and toxic spikes. He does have them, just of course Rabombi can set up sticky webs, which is nice, but yeah, you have to pick, I feel like, if Rabombi is going to be a hazard setter or a hazard removal. So yeah, getting rid of hazards is probably going to rest on Rotom's shoulder, and I don't feel like Rotom is a solid bring for, well, let's say 6 games. I feel like that is too much to ask for Rotom. Of course, things I really like. Crocodile as a Terra Captain is very annoying, so I really like that thing as a Terra Captain. He has many momentum options with 3 U-turners and 2 Volt Switchers, which is around half the team. He has some decent immunities with, I think he has 10 immunities in his team, which is always nice. He has much physical attacking options with Zoroark at 105, Sharpedo 120, Passimian 120, Go-Goat at 100, Mudstilt 125, and even Trapinch at 100. I mean, I feel like Trapinch can force something in 1 or 2 games with Arena Trap and Bandit First Impressions. So, who knows? And something you can't see on here, but he has some decent screen options with Quillfish, Magneton, Rotom, Ribombee, all, I believe, good hazard or screen setters. So yeah, those 3 were the things I feel like, or the teams that I feel like are not going to end up very high. And after this, it started to get a bit harder. And I believe around half the entire field is somewhere in the mid-ranks for my PRs. So, yeah, from that entire group, I feel like the one going to have the hardest time is the Indianapolis Colossals. They are things they are lacking is speed, just in general. Verition 108 is decent, but there are a lot of things going to outspeed it, and with that 4 times weakness to flying, and flying types normally are quite fast, I don't feel like that's enough speed in his in their team. Blaziken, 80 base speed, but can't use speed boost in this league, so yeah, not that great. So you basically are bound to run a Scarf, which limits your options, I feel like. So not that much of a fan. And not sure how many Pokemon on this team can set up Trick Room, but Trick Room is I know from experience, very hard gimmick to run. So yeah. Some common weaknesses. Fire. He has just 2 immunities or resistances to 3 weaknesses. Ice has the same numbers, 2 resist, 3 weaknesses. Flying, just the 1 resist against 3 weaknesses with, Verition being very weak to it. Psychic, same thing, 1 resist, 2 resist. I got my dog wrong. And Ghost with 1 immunity but 2 weaknesses, with Hoopa having a big weakness to it. Also, they have no Clarigolls, so no Heal Bell, no Wish support or anything. And they don't have much priority. I mean, Aqua Jet from Blastoise is not something you usually run. And Quick Attack for Version and Blaziken feels a bit underwhelming. Things I do like about the team. They have a great defensive core. 4 on both defense and special defense, with Shuckle, Blastoise, Hoopa, Duraludon, and Runerigus just having very good defenses. Runerigus on both sides, I feel like Hoopa is a special wall and a great mon to use, I know from experience. Blastoise being in the hundreds in both defenses, Duraludon having 115 in defense. Yeah, just great defenses, and of course the king of defense is Shuckle with both 230s. Yeah, but the 20 HP, not that great, but I mean, you don't get it for the HP, you get it for the defenses. Also very nice is the Azarts situation, apparently. I forgot the age. But all Shuckle, Runerigus, and Duraludon can set up rocks, with Swalot being able to put up the toxic spikes, and Runerigus as well. 2 Defoggers, 1 Spinner is pretty good. It's for Blaziken a good way of still getting some ways to get a speed boost, which I think it... Oh no, wait, it's defog, never mind. So yeah. Don't see them finishing all that high, but I do see them win 1, maybe 2 games. We'll see. Number 12 is going to be the Purin Puffs. Again, not a really bad team, but it does have some big and mostly common weaknesses. I mean, lots of things can run electric or poison, rock and ghost type moves, so yeah, I feel like you should cover that a bit more, especially the electric with 5 weaknesses. You do have the 1 immunity in Lightning Rod from Alolan Marowak, but I don't see you run Lightning Rod on Marowak. Cursed Body and Rocket are way better, and with a special attack stat of 50, I don't see you just gonna use it to have a electric immunity, which is completely free if you would have drafted a ground type. So yeah, don't think that's the best choice. And with a rock weakness for weak and just 1 resist, and to cover that, Revavroom is the only rock immunity resist that you have, but most mons that learn rock type moves also learn ground type moves, and let that be his biggest weakness. So I feel like your defensive situation could be much better. Also looking at the stats, you don't really have a special wall at all. I mean, the thing coming close to it is Lapras with 95. Combined with the 130 HP stat, it's decent, but it's not the greatest. And I feel like other teams just have their defenses way better in order than you do. So giving you that your physical defensive walls are pretty decent, but Alolan Marowak 110 and Leafeon 130. But saying that Leafeon is more fertile physically than Lapras is frail on the special side. So and your hazard situation, your hazard situation isn't all that great either. I mean, you have 2 Stealth Rockers, one of them being Jigglypuff. I mean, I don't see you bring Jigglypuff to more than 2 games. So all your Stealth Rocks have to come from Alolan Marowak that already has enough burdens as it is with your only electric immunity. And toxic spikes from Revavroom are, I feel, not really going to happen. I feel like it's not defensive enough for a reliable spike setter. So, and your defog situation, again, Vullaby not being fully evolved, it is pretty bulky with Eviolite, but being bulky with Eviolite is like saying, I can do 10 push-ups. I can in my good days, but most days I can't. And with Eviolite just easily be getting knocked off, makes Vullaby and your team way too frail and leaves your defog situation up to Sigilyph. And I mean, you can, of course, but is it great? I don't think so. Things I like about your team, of course, there are always positive things to say, even though I rant on about the negative things way longer, I feel like. Sorry for that. You do have quite a lot of immunities, which is nice. Jigglypuff being immune to Ghost and Dragon. Vullaby being immune to Ground and Psychic. Same for Flamigo on the ground side. Aromatisse being immune to Dragon. Which brings me to the point, I don't really get the Jigglypuff pick either. I mean, Aromatisse just does the same job but better and more reliable. I mean, yeah, it's a low-cost mon, but kind of a waste, I feel like. Maybe you could get something better for the points you got for Jigglypuff. Furthermore, you have great healing. I mean, Aromatisse, Jigglypuff, Sylveon with Wish. So, great support there. And plenty of setup options. So, I feel like if you bring 2 or 3 well thought out setup options, you can always have the opportunity to take an opponent by surprise and just being ultra offensively. I feel like that's going to be the best thing your team can do to just overwhelm your opponent and try to get them that way. So yeah, that's what I feel about the Perk buffs. 11th is are the so talking is going to be hard. The Philadelphia Fanpiece. Thank you. So we're going to get around mid-table teams down here. Hi D10, not sure why you're hovering there, but whatever. So yeah, looking at his team, things I do not like is that you only have defoggers to get rid of hazards. Don't get me wrong, defog is the most reliable way because it's hard or even impossible to block. But it also gets rid of your own hazards. So saying that, you don't really have that much hazards. So just these stealth rocks on the Dunsparce and the spikes from Excelgor. I mean, it's nice that you have some options, but maybe get a stealth rocker extra, but that's just my opinion again. Looking at your speed stats, everything that's faster than Emolga is going to speed creep Emolga. Why? Because the gap between Emolga and Excelgor is just way too big. Same goes for the gap between Fione and Pangoro. That's a gap from more than 20 points. I mean, especially, and even between Zard and Fiona, it's already 20 points. I mean, okay, it's easy to say all mons between 60 and 80 are going to be speed creeping Pangoro. Everything between 80 and 100 are going to speed creep the Fiona, and everything from Emolga and up is going to speed creep Emolga, simply put. So speed creeping this team is going to be very easy with those speed stats. Let's see, right one, there we go. I also feel you have too many double typings. I mean, I don't mind a dual typing or a double type that much, but you took it a bit too far for my liking. I mean, as Cavalier and Doublade both being steel types, the Dunsparce and Mega Audino both being a normal typing or type, Alolan Grimer and Pangoro both being a dark type. What else did we have? Yeah, no dragon. Charizard is still not a recognized dragon. Excelgor and Escavalier both being a bug type. I mean, I give you that. Your defensive situation looks pretty great. Looking down on the left side, you see everything green and some blank spaces. Blank means you're even, so you have as much resistances as you have weaknesses to that move or typing. So defensively, I can't complain about it, but I feel like offensively you lose some potential in there. You also kind of lack priority. I mean, Pangoro has Bullet Punch, Shadow Sneak from the Blade, but yeah, Excelgor doesn't Excelgor has Water Shuriken, of course, and that's a priority move, but I don't feel like it needs priority with his already incredible speed stats. So yeah. Going to the things I like. I already talked about not having any big weaknesses in your team. You have a lot of physical potential with 3 big physical defensive mons. Mega Audino at 126, Escavalier 105, and Doublade at 150, and potentially getting boosted with Eviolite. Again, double-edged sword, but still. And Escavalier at 135 attack, Doublade 110 attack, the Dunsparce 100, Pangoro 125, Flygon 100. Your problem is not going to be in the physical department. You also have some hard-hitting mons like Charizard and Excelgor on the special side, but it feels a little lackluster compared to your attacking side. So, good momentum with 4 U-turners and Emolga also having the potential to Volt Switch, which I like, especially with having Excelgor is, let's see, your slowest mon is Fiona, so you have pretty fast momentum there, which is something I really like. And you have some nice opportunities to spread status. You have Emolga and Audino for Thunderwave, the Dunsparce knows Glare. So a lot of mons got Toxic back, so yeah. You have both Wish and Heal Bell support on your team with Mega Audino, which I do appreciate, so yeah. Sorry. I mean, I've been talking for almost 40 minutes now, so yeah, not a surprise there. So yeah, I like this team, but not enough, and I see too many flaws in it. to really say I see you pushing for playoffs, but who knows, you can always surprise me. Leaving that up to the coaches, of course. Going on to number 10 is going to be the Balloon Boys. First of all, I just love the idea of the Drifloon Boys, so props for that. Just not just the name. I also like the logo really much. Looking at this team, the speed gap from Mega Manectric and downwards is pretty big. So again, prep for Comfy being base 100 and everything higher than base 100 just preps for the Comfy and gets to push more into bulk. Hazard options are limited to 3 months. I mean, sure, it's doable for the 3 months, but are you really going to bring Glimmet every week? I mean, if you don't bring Glimmet, Toxic Spikes are already off the table. Leaves you with Bronzong and Sandslash. Bronzong is a great Stealth Rock setter. Let's put that, no questions, no doubt. Bronzong is a great hazard setter, but it only has these Stealth Rocks. If you want spikes, you need Sandslash, and Sandslash lacks the special defense to really be a reliable setter, so it's a decent setter, but not all that great. Also, Sandslash, if you want it to be a hazard setter, you lack, I feel like, the potential to also be a rapid spinner. And that leaves Comfey as your only hazard removal, which I don't think is the best thing for you. So if I were your opponent, not sure if we're gonna face off, honestly, haven't looked that far ahead, I just prepped for week 1, so if I battle you, I'm probably going to hazard stack you, looking at your team. You also kind of lack priority moves, and with, well, most of your team being below average, and let's say 75 to 80 is, for me, the average, you really lack some priority moves. You have quick attack on the Mega Manectric, but that's a special attacker. You don't really have... I think you lack the option to go first, especially with your slower side of the team. Again, having 2 non-fully evolved mons gives you good Eviolite options, but I don't feel like Glimmet really needs it. I feel like, just like Glamora, Focus Sash is going to be your main item to use, so it can get up his hazards. Things I like, everything below Comfey, starting with Comfey and below, is well covered, so not that many big jumps. Like Comfey Articuno is 5 base point jump, Articuno Mabostiff is 10 points, 10 points, 10, 5, 10, 10, 7. I mean, and the step from Bronzing to Slowpoke is like, don't even worry, because those mons don't need to run speed EVs at all. So yeah, so after Mega Manectric, your speed coverage is pretty good. You have much bulk. You have 3 months with base 100 special defense at least with Comfey, Articuno and the Bronzong, and 4 physical months with the Kingler, Sandslash, Diplin and the Bronzong as well. So you have a pretty good defensive core. The attacking options also are pretty good with 3 high physical attackers in Mabostiff, Kingler and Sandslash, and Mega Manectric, Articuno Galar, and Glimmet at 105. You have a lot of screen options with Bronzong, Comfey, Audino, Slowpoke, Articuno Galar, and you have some decent setup options. So honestly, 10th, this was the point I really started struggling with where to place everyone. Balloon Boys, top 8 make playoffs. I do think you are potential playoff candidates. I just need to see it, to be honest. There are some good pieces, but I mean, if you had your hazards up, I was like, okay, no questions. I think you guys will make playoffs. Maybe cutting it a bit short, close, but in the end, pretty comfortably making playoffs. I feel like if you can fix your hazard situation to really pressure your opponents, this team would have been a bit higher in my power rankings. But for now, 10th, and that's important for me, with the potential to score a bit higher. So yeah, going to the halfway point, number 9 are the Bat Dragonites. What to say about this team? They have a big gap in speed between Grafia and Abra. A speed gap from 20 points. And the speed gap between Grafia and Abra is in what I consider the most important part of the speed tiers. You basically everything above Abra and below Grafia is again easily prepped, and most of the time things between 180 base speed I feel like runs Scarf most of the times. So not really having a something between 190 is so throat is acting up again. Is kind of a necessary for speed prepping, and running Scarfed Grafia to outspeed any Scarfers is not ideal, but again, running a Prankster trick set with a Scarf is always something you could. Also something I don't really like is the big ghost weakness they have, with only Grafia having an immunity and 3 mons weak to ghost, and basically the same for the flying type, with 3 mons being weak to it, with Chestnut even having 4 times weakness to it, with only Probopass as a counter for flying types. Looking at their defenses, I'm not sure. I think the bulky part is from another team, because, well, this team does have quite some bulk, with Florges and Probopass on the special side, and let's see, the Gligar, Sinistra, Cloyster, Chestnut, and Probopass on the physical side. But sorry, my cat is sitting on my lap and washing itself, so kind of got distracted there. I think there's okay bulk in there, especially the physical side, of course, with 4 or 5 months just easily being good walls. They have they have 3 big hitters on the special side, but one being Abra, and again Abra, Clamperl, I see those two mostly getting brought to 1 or 2 games. So basically leaves them with Florges and Sinistra, which are good special attackers, so fair enough. With Machamp and Chestnut, they have some hard hitting on the physical side. Cloyster at 95 is also decent, just like Grafai. I think Machamp and Chestnut feel that I feel like they have these around the same coverage, with Chestnut having the additional grass typing coverage. I don't know, I feel like the physical side is a bit lacklustering, honestly. Looking at the hazards, 2 different rockers, 2 different spike setters, toxic spikes from Cloyster if you like, 3 defoggers, a rapid spinner. Yeah, I think the hazards are pretty good. Damn. You have good momentum options with 3 U-turners and a Volt Switcher. So that's always nice. Plenty of screen options. Decent setup options. Cloyster with Shell Smash, Chestnut with Bulk Up, Swoobat with simple close call mines. Perhaps even an Abra with Nasty Plot. You've got enough options to increase that power level, and yeah, I don't really hate this team, but I think there are some kind of big flaws that could and maybe need to be fixed before this team really can get higher up in the rankings. But I think it's a solid team all out of all. So yeah, 9th, middle of the pack, decent. Number 8 is the Team Perk Watch. Have to scroll a bit up. Team Perk Watch, there we go. Things I do not like about this team: they don't really have all that much special defensive walls. Basically, Jellicent, and yeah, that's it. Just the Jellicent. I mean, Earthworm, great physical defensive mon. Dashbun is a good physical defensive mon. Drapion can take physical hits. Miltank can take physical hits. But Appleton? No, Illumise with 85. I mean, how many times are you gonna bring special defensive Illumise or Illumise at all? I mean, that's again just 1 or 2 matches, and yeah, don't see it getting brought to all that many games. Again, with Illumise I don't see Illumise not being brought all that often. It is their only defogger. So basically, if you don't want hazards up, you are forced to bring Illumise more, which takes up slots for better Pokemon, and I think that's maybe not it's maybe not the best way of having hazard removal. Again, Illumise is also a bug type, so Stealth Rocks are going to chip it down very hard, which also leaves you with a necessity of running a heavy-duty boot set on Illumise. So yeah, I think Illumise is not the best removal at all, and being your only removal is not that optimal, I think. Besides, you do have quite a lot of Stealth Rock setters. You have Spike setters, you have Toxic Spike setters. Only having Defog will
yeah, you can't really run your own hazards because if you want them gone on your side of the field, you're basically blowing away your own hazards as well, which is yeah, not all that optimal, I think. Um, what I also don't like about this team is it's lacking momentum. Again, only Illumise with U-turn, Manectric the only Volt Switcher. I mean, Manectric is a good mon, for the format at least. Base 105 is good, with 105 special attack. So it fits the role of a fast electric type pretty well, damn well. So that's a good Volt Switcher mon, but Illumise, I don't see it again being brought to that many games. Base stat total of 430 is not all that great, with nothing really standing out. Speed and SBF at 85 are the best, and that's just not all that great. Looking at the rest of their stats, some decently hitting special attackers with Manectric, Lucario, and Appleton, but only 2 really dedicated special attackers. I mean, Lucario can be both, so that's nice, but if you want a clean 3 and 3 split with 3 special attackers and 3 physical attackers, Lucario is basically forced to be always a special attacker, which takes away a bit of surprise from Lucario. So let's see, 4 or 5 good physical mons with Miltank, Drapion, Dashbun, and Earthworm. Piloswine, again a bit iffy with Eviolite. Decent physical attackers with Piloswine and Lucario. Maybe Drapion, and from personal experience I know Dashbun is a good physical mon, so yeah, can't really hate on that one. No big speed gaps, which is something I like, as you may have heard already. So it's hard to really speed creep. I have to read from the right. Yeah. Not many major weaknesses. They have a 4-3 fighting weakness with 4 simple normal weaknesses, 2 resistances and 1 immunity in Jellicent, which is basically pretty decently covered because I expect Jellicent to come to at least a majority of the games. Team has some good priority, 3 quick attackers, Bullet Punch from Lucario, Drapion probably has Sucker Punch, Ice Shard from the Piloswine, so you have good screen options and good setup options. So again, Lucario, Calm Mind, Nasty Plot, Swords Dance, so all decent. Earthworm with Iron Defense, Dashbun with Well-Baked Body is pretty easy to set up against, or get set up for you, basically. Let's see. Miltank can probably do some funny setup things, so yeah. And the only thing that's really bugging me, yeah, he sniped me too many times. Basically, I was thinking about getting Earthworm, sniped. I was thinking about Piloswine, sniped. Dashbun and Appleton were in my mind, but were taken. Drapion was on my radar for a long time. So yeah, I gotta say, they've got good taste. Going to place number 7 is the Sleepy Gang. Maybe I analyze this team the best because they're my week 1 opponents. Yeah, looking at their team, they really lack a good special wall. Their the closest thing coming to a special wall are Glaceon and Stoutland. And Delmice with base 90. Glaceon and Stoutland both have a fighting weakness, which his team is suffering quite a bit with 4-3. And one of those, well, not all dead, suffering again with a immunity and a 4 times resist. But John Mega is not that bulky, so not that many hazard options as well, with 2 stealth rockers and that's it. A defogger and a rapid spinner are nice, but maybe another rapid spinner, but that's not really going to bother you, I think. You have a great rapid spinner in Delmice. Again, got sniped on that one because Delmice basically got sniped in the round that I was planning to pick it up. And I had to settle for Bramblegast in the end, so not really glad to see it on their side, but yeah, it is what it is. But no good special walls and not much hazards is basically the best things I could find. I think they're pretty major, but overcomable. They are overcomable objects, I feel like. Looking at the things I do like, they have many hard-hitting mons. Yanmega, Armorous, Glaceon, and Electros on the special side. Emberpom, Podeantauros, Stoutland, Electros, Gigalith, and Delmice on the physical side. They have many momentum options with Volt Switch and U-turns. Anything that speaks out to me with Flip Turn, not really. So still good momentum. Things I do also like, they have enough support options. Morgrim is a great support mon with Prankster. I think Glaceon can set screens up for them. So can a Tang. So yeah, don't really hate it. But I feel like the special being hit on the special side is going to a special how do I say this? If your opponent brings a lot of special attacking mons, I think this team is going to struggle against that. So I feel like they can run for playoffs, but they maybe need to invest some points into getting a special wall. But anything else, maybe some more hazards, and you're kind of set for playoffs, I feel like. So yeah, good for you. Last team that's going to be in the mix for playoffs, and I feel like they should make it, are the Berlin Bolt Hunts. Things I don't like are not all that big. They have a big fairy and fighting weakness. 4 against 2 on the fighting and 4 against 3 on the fairy. Especially the fighting weakness with Aggron being 4 times weak. Damn. And Gardevoir being 4 times resistant is kind of cancelling each other out, but only having Tentacruel besides that, having to cover for Umbreon, Rotom Frost, and the Krokorok is kind of rough. So, and the team is lacking momentum. Only Rotom Frost is able to Volt Switch out, and that's the only momentum you have. So basically, if you bring some U-turners and Volt Switchers against them, they will struggle to keep up momentum, and yeah, really keep you under pressure because yeah, basically what most of you already know. If you have momentum moves like U-turn and Volt Switch, you can easier get switch-ins that are good answers to the hard switches of this team, I guess. So, and besides that, they kind of lack priority. I mean, Umbreon and Flareon get quick attack, but besides that, maybe a Aqua Jet from Tentacruel, and that's about it. But they have a lot of redeeming things in this team. They have decent speed synergy. The gap between Aerodactyl and Tentacruel is kind of big. So, but after Tentacruel to Rotom Frost is a 14 point jump. So again, for Scarfers, you basically have to Scarf your Rotom Frost standard. But after that, it's pretty close and hard to prep for. So you're basically forced to run speed boosting natures instead of attack boosting natures, which can be pretty devastating in some matchups. Some big special walls. I mean, Tentacool 120, Umbreon 130, Eldegoss 120, Flareon 110, Gardevoir 115. Hard to break through. On the physical side, Rotom Frost with 107, Umbreon 110, Aggron 180. So, also some good defenses. Yeah, with 4 Hazard Setters in Stealth Rock and a Toxic Spiker, you have enough hazard setup. And with 2 Defoggers and 2 Spinners, you have plenty of removal. So basically don't run hazards against them because they'll get blown away one way or another, I think. You have many heal and cleric options. Flareon and Umbreon both get heal bell. I think Gardevoir does so as well. I think Gardevoir gets Wish. I think Eldegoss gets Wish, so enough ways to heal mons that can need some reliable recovery. You have a lot of status options with, you can see down right on your screen, 3 Will-O-Whispers and 4 Thunder Wavers. Good support options and some decent setup options with Calm Mind Gardevoir, D-Dance or Aerodactyl, Aggron with maybe a Rock Polish set. So I think the Berlin Boltons will definitely make playoffs. Even though some weaknesses in the team, especially that fighting weakness, I think if you can patch that up by maybe dropping Krokorok for something that resists water and don't has a fighting and fairy weakness, you can really patch your weaknesses up. So yeah. Going into high rank, and this was kind of hard for me because as you may have noticed, I haven't named my own team. I think pretty highly of my own team, but yeah, it felt wrong to just put them at first, so I put myself in 5th. Again, I feel pretty good about my team, so looking at the things I prioritize in drafts and all, I think this team can get things done the way I like to think, and I think I am, if I just play to the abilities of this team, I feel like I can make playoffs pretty solidly. Things I don't like about my team. For starters, I have 4 ground weaknesses and just the 2 resistance slash immunities. So I have a pretty heavy ground weakness, and with a lot of things that can run moves like Earthquake, that's not pretty ideal. Just one Volt Switcher and one U-turner. Yeah, I could do with some more momentum. But yeah, those are the things I really don't like about my team. What I do like in my team, not all that big of a speed gap. The biggest gap I don't like is between Pyro and Meloetta with 16 points. So maybe that's a bit easy to prep for, but I don't feel like that's pretty major because, yeah, things in between those ranges normally already run Scarf, so I have a lot of immunities on my team, which I like. I've counted about 10, so decent. I feel like I've got plenty of bulk with things like Meloetta, Hitmonlee, Altaria, Politoed and Diancie on the special side, and again Diancie, Sandaconda and Durant on the physical side. Decent hazard sets. I've got 4 different mons that are able to set up hazards and 4 different mons to remove hazards. So I think I don't really will have much problems with hazard situations. I think I feel like I have enough enough status options and plenty of setup options. Don't want to reveal that much, but yeah, I mean, Meloetta, Altaria, Diancie, Bolton, Durant, Hitmonlee, Bramblegast, Skuntank all have one way or another an option to set up. So yeah, don't really have all that much type overlaps, and well, I have to name it. The theme of my team this season is pretty great, I feel like. So yeah, really happy with my team, and again, if I play to the potential of this team, I feel like I should be able to make playoffs. And yeah, again, really hard to say this about my own team, but I don't want to get all that cocky or yeah, don't really want to blow my own horn, but I think I drafted pretty well and I like the team basically. Yeah. Also, a team I think will probably be pretty safe to make playoffs this season are the Chicago Bulls. Let's see what I had to say about them. Things I do not really like is the lack of really bulky special mons. They have 2 100 base special defense mons in Shaman and Muck, and that's basically it. I mean, Chameko on 90 can maybe take a couple of hits, but that's about it. Everything else is kinda below par on that point, so that's something you maybe want to invest a little bit more in. On the special attacking side, you really also lack a bit of power, with Shaman being, I think, your most reliable special attacker. Hisuian Samurott has a base 100 special attack, but well, without sharpness maybe you can run some special sets, but I feel like it's more likely to just run physical sets. Chameko at base 95 and Golduck base 95 are special attackers, but maybe not massive hitters. And I know from experience, Galvantula with base 97, it always feels a bit underwhelming in the power department. So Looking at your hazard situation, you have Steelix for Stealth Rocks and Mug for the Toxic Spikes. I feel like that's a little bit bare bones. I mean, they both are pretty good hazard setters, with them being pretty defensive, so they can tank a hit and set up the hazards you want them to set up. But you are basically reliant on the same mons to get hazards up week in, week out, and there are matchups you don't want Steelix or Mug to come, and basically you just put yourself without hazards in that situation. Things I like about this team: great speed tiers, no big gaps. Between 100 and an 80, they have Hisuian, Samurott, Golduck, and Oricorio. Also, Oricorio being on the team is great with having access to all 4 forms, so that's also pretty good. You have good defensive type coverage, only 2 weaknesses, and those are 2 against 1 weaknesses, so yeah, wouldn't all that much sweat it. And Steelix, with Steelix having a great rock resistance, kinda negates that weakness, and flying, just the bull and the shaman, yeah, not all that worrisome, I feel like. You have good physical attackers. I mean, Tauros, Poldeas, Hisuian, Samurott, Fracture, Mug, Shaman if you want them to be. Cinccino is a decent one with Skill Link. Yeah, some good physical attacking mons. Decent momentum with a couple of U-turners and Volt Switchers. You have good setup options with Samurott, Polday and Tauros. Steelix can set up. Oricorio can set up. Cinccino, Fracture, all be able to have some good, one way or another, good setup. So yeah, I like the team, and I feel like this team will contend for playoffs, with it having some great ways of forcing the opponent to prep hard, like Oricorio not being able to tell which form it's gonna take. Can be massive, I feel like. Just like Shaman, you're not gonna tell if Shaman is a physical or a special set. Golduck can run split attacks. So yeah, I feel like the Bulus will pretty solidly make playoffs. The team in third is going to be the Boston Blades. I have a lot of positive things to say about this team, and so yeah, I'll just start off like the others with the things I don't really like. To start off, they have some big speed gaps in this team. From Electro to Hisuian or to Cyclozar is already a big gap, but I don't think you should mind that too much, because there's not much outspeeding Cyclozar anyway, so yeah. But the big gap from Frostless to Houndoom is a pretty major one, because you basically forced your Houndoom to run Scarf a lot of times, and the gap between Mega Bennett, Cloth and Houndoom is also pretty big. So maybe you can do something about that. Something I personally don't like is the lack of a fairy type. I mean, what's going to take a dragon type move for you? The Fortress. And yeah, that's about it, I think. Now, you don't have a major weakness, but Dragon Spam is still pretty free, especially because most things that can get Dragon type moves also get Fire type moves, and Fortress is not going to appreciate that. So Um, Things I don't like is lacking much special attack. The Houndoom is a good option, and Cacturn can be both physical and special, so that's nice. But I mean, Mega Bennett has 93 base special attack, but you're never gonna run special with a base attack stat of 165. Yeah, Electrode base 80. With the speed stat, it is basically not necessary to run anything in speed, and with that speed stat already, you can easily run specs. So that's something. But Cyclozar base 85 probably a mixed setter. Frostlass base 80 on both attack and special attack, but that's not really that big of a stat, so kind of lacking there. Not all that special in the not much special bulk with Mega Bayonet at 83 and Torterra 85. Again, kind of lacking, and yeah, little point is you don't have a defogger, but Rapid Spin is, in my opinion, better. Only thing is, as soon as your opponent has a ghost type, you are blocked from getting your hazards on your side removed. But the things I really like is your Regenerator Core. Alola Mola, Cyclozar, and Cloth are going to be a hell of a job to break through with that Regenerator Core. You have a lot of the basics done right. You've got your Fire, Water, Grass core in Torterra's Houndoom and Alamomola. You have a fast electric type in Electrode, a grounded poison type in Hisui and Sneasel. Again, only lacking the fairy type for your Fairy Dragon Steel core. Having some big stats in almost every department besides the special defense, as I said. So, yeah. Having 4 knockoff users is pretty good, and especially with all of them having that regenerated core, so basically being able to tank something, get a knockoff off, and regain the health they lost is pretty nice. You have a lot of screen options to set. You have 2 pretty good Terra Captains, I feel like, in Electrode and Cloth, so yeah. I feel like you should probably make playoffs with this team. So yeah, good for you. Second and almost the number 1 spot for the the Los Angeles Nidokings. Only had 2 things that I didn't like about this team. The lack of major bulk. Mantine at 140 can be considered major bulk, but with a 4 times weakness to electric, it still can't really take a Thunderbolt from many Pokemon. Miss Mages being 105 feels a bit underwhelming. I basically haven't seen Miss Mages live a lot of hits. The only really defensive things I feel like this team has are the Torkoal and the Galarian Slowbro. And those are more, let's see, Slowbro. Yeah, those are more physical defensive mons. So, kind of underwhelming bulk, but I probably will be surprised at the end that he didn't get all that many kills against him. So, and the thing he does lack is a bit of momentum, with only 2 momentum mons, U-turn on the spit ups, and Palmot having Volt Switch. Palmot being a physical attacker doesn't really like to Volt Switch, I feel like. And yeah, Spit Ups as a U-turner is pretty decent. Spit Ups has a 79 base attack stat, so that's decent-ish. Yeah, it's more of a defensive mon, so... things I like. They have decent speed tiers. Again, well, basically forcing the Lilligant to run Scarf most of the times, but still. Unburdened Slurpuff is a option. So yeah, decent. You have some good resistances. I am not really sure why I put that in. Kind of want to retract that statement. It's decent, but not all that great. Decent hazard options with Torkoal and Mawile being good stealth workers, Spit-Ups being a good spike setter and web setter, 2 defoggers, a rapid spinner, which is decent. So yeah, I think the hazard department is well filled. You have both Cleric and healing options with Slurpuff, I think, having Wish Heal Bell from Slurpuff, I believe. So yeah, that's always nice. Some good priority with Quick Attack. On the Palmot also having Mach Punch, Dragonair having Aqua Jet and Extreme Speed, so that's good. And you have some good setup options with Dragonair, Iron Defense Torkoal. You can go for Swords Dance Tauros, Slurpuff with Unburden and Belly Drum, Lilligant with Quiver Dance. So yeah, enough things going for you to make me feel like you will make playoffs. Leaving me with only the number 1, and yeah, I really feel like they are going to finish first in regular season, and those are the Frankfurt Talonflames. Yeah, I feel like the Frankfurt Talonflames have a lot going for them. They have a pretty big ground weakness with 4 ground weaknesses in Tyrantrum, Overquill, Typhlosion, and the Tentacool. They do have 2 flying types in Vespiquen and Rotom Fan, but I don't expect them to bring both of them to games, so I feel like that ground weakness will be pretty big if you bring 3 or 4 of those weak mons. That's basically the only thing I didn't like about the team. They have decent speed tiers. Basically, Typhlosion maybe forced to wear scarves, but it's basically what I would do. I basically scarfed Hisuian Typhlosion set weekly, so seeing Typhlosion weekly with a scarf is something I'm used to. So some good defensive walls on both physical and special side with Rotom Fanat 107, Tentacool 100, Vespiquen 102 on both sides. Rotom Fan, by the way, also 107 on both sides. Tyrantrum 119 in defense. So some decent bulky mons. Great offensive power. Hisuian Zoroark, Tyrantrum, Overquill, Hariyama, all big hitters. Musharna as a Terra Captain is maybe able to hit very hard. Not really sure. Great hazard situation with multiple hazard setters on everything. 3 defoggers and a spinner. Now Tentacool is not the best spinner in the league, or not all that great at all to be honest, but still I think having the option still is something you should consider when prepping. So it still forces prep. You have both fast and slow momentum with Zoroark and Whimsicott as fast U-turners and Vesperquin as a slow U-turner. Rotom Fan is a pretty fast U-turner, depending on the spread, or Volt Switcher, by the way, sorry. You have much priority in your team. Aqua Jet from the Overquill, Sucker Punch on the Zoroark. Quick Attack Typhlosion is maybe not something you will want to run, but still, it's an option. I know Hariyama gets Bullet Punch. I don't think it gets Max Punch, but still, Prankster from the Whimsicott. You have enough status options. You have much support options and some decent setups. So yeah, I feel like the Frankfurt Talonflames might end up first in the league this season. And, well, yeah, basically are kind of guaranteed for playoffs in my eyes. So yeah, those are the power rankings. Again, hope no one's really offended by it. This is how I feel about it, and I'm not a authority on that in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah, I hope you liked it. Hope you found it entertaining, and hope you came to a bit more insight on your own team or from your opponent. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and to all coaches, good luck in this season, and or I either hope you prove me wrong or you prove me right, depending on at what end of the power rankings you ended up. So yeah, have a great season, everyone, and see you at the battlefield.